deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fans Only Sports Network's live coverage tonight of Division I hockey in the state of Rhode Island. Here from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink in Smithfield, Rhode Island, we've got you, the Mount Rushmore of all Rhode Island hockey matchups. Tonight, the LaSalle Academy Rams host the Bishop Hendricken Hawks in a Division I matchup to determine who will take the number one spot so far in D1 in the state of Rhode Island. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Chris He2, calling the plays tonight here, right here on Fans Only Sports Network. You can follow us on socials at FO Sports, sports with a Z at the end. But once again, tonight's matchup between the LaSalle Academy Rams and the Bishop Hendricken Hawks. This is a rivalry like no other. These two teams faced off in the postseason last year. Hendricken in Game 2 of the three-game series managed to complete the sweep with a 1-0 win and would eventually go on to take the state championship last year. Now for the Rams, this is a team that last year was undefeated throughout the regular season in league play. But Bishop Hendricken was the team that stuck it to them at the end of the day and stuck it to them this season in a non-league game that happened a couple weeks ago where at Thayer Arena the Hawks managed to take down the Rams by a final score of 3-2 in overtime. So the Rams looking to get some vengeance tonight. The Hawks having a tough loss last week to Warwick. Final score is 5-2. Managed to get back on track last night with a 6-0 win over East Greenwich. And for LaSalle, they moved up to 4-0 on the season after defeating Warwick last night 3-0. So both teams on opposite sides of the ice in their respective huddles and just about ready to go here from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. We'll get the opening call for our starting lineups here tonight. And so we'll direct our attention over to the right-hand side of the floor as we will get the introductions for the visiting Bishop Hendricken Hawks. They'll be announced in just a moment. And of course, this being LaSalle's home ice, getting a lot of boos. It's a packed barn here tonight as both the Academy and Bishop Hendricken representing in their own ways. Of course, Hendricken, an all-boys school, and LaSalle, a mixed group. Definitely a very interesting turnout from both sides. The Hawks bring themselves a very formidable squad. They've won the state championship the last few seasons. And of course, their starting man tonight, taking over for Drew Carr last season, is 30, Colin Murray. So now we'll turn our attention to the home representation by the LaSalle Rams as they announce their starting lineups for tonight. And definitely one of the biggest stories to talk about this season is the 31 in net that they will announce in just a moment. Caleb Jaharjian taking over this season for Max Cute. Max Cute, wearing the number 30 last year, is the number one goaltender in the state of Rhode Island. Jaharjian in the same position as him this year statistically. And with that, that concludes our starting lineup announcements. So now we will direct our attention to the right-hand side to honor America for the playing of our national anthem. And with that slap of the stick on the ice, that means we are ready to go from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. And you can already hear this barn getting livid as we speak. But before we hop in to tonight's matchup, we're going to give you the word from tonight's game sponsors. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For more information and consultation, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then finally by our Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports for high school athletes looking to play at the next level. Be seen by going to our Elite Recruits today. Visit www.oureliterecruits.com to sign for more information. So both teams talking over at their respective benches for this very anticipated matchup. The crowds are into it. We're, of course, into it up here in the booth. And with that, we're about ready to go. And we will hit center ice. And with that, we are underway from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink off the face-off. The Hawks trap the puck up against the near side boards before it's dumped into LaSalle's side of the floor. Rifling a shot off the backboards from the 18 of Hughes. Hughes trying to dump it off to the top of the zone. That one, the left side of it was completely exposed as Nardelli sent one down. And the Hawks fan base really in it on this one. Aiden Penachini flipping it around to the near side. And as the board continues to be trapped on that side. And wrapped around. That time the 2 of Healy. And before it's dumped back into the zone. LaRose trying to bring it in front of Georgian, who makes a tough save on Hendricken's first shot of the night. Trying to navigate around. Before that time, the 5 of Mora is trying to get the puck out of the zone. And it's brought back to center from Kalari. It'll wrap around the cage of Georgian. Back to the near side. And Bradley trying to bring it up through center. Bradley getting tied up a little bit. And the 15 of Blakely Grizzlies sends it back to the near side. Great chance for Bradley to get set. Taken away that time from Grizzlies' mistake on the pass. Ferreira trying to bring it back to center ice. Hawks are going to give him some help. Tillinghast. And the whistle to stop play. (13:22), probably the longest sequence in the opening of a hockey game that I've covered all year. And these teams, they're going to really deke and duke it out tonight. Hawks have really dominated the possession so far to start. Smith, the feed, that time to Kavanaugh. The puck back at center. And they continue to fight for the puck through neutral ice. It's flipped into the zone over the top of Kavanaugh. And nearly a good chance to get set up there. That time Crane. Coming back to near. And Bradley and crew can't seem to do much with it as the Hawks send another one down. Georgian with the save. That time it was the 27 of Tyler Garfalo trying to get in there and make some plays. But the Rams really struggling in these opening minutes. The Hawks establishing some very strong forechecks in the opening. And it's usually, at least in these contests, we've seen the Rams be the ones to dominate off their forechecks. However, that has not been the case tonight. Murphy will flip it up to center, nearly traveling into his own bench. And Carter retreating after this puck as it comes back to the near. Marshall tried to shepherd it through center. And that time the 12 of Michael Marabello was trying to move the puck around a little bit. Before it's poked back up by Murphy. At the blue line. Rams trying to knock it into their zone, but Marshall has other ideas. Giving it off that time to the 25 of Mason Crane. In the corner. Coming back to the far side, Murphy. Murphy checked into those boards before it's come back and back at neutral. Poked away by Pacheco. And that time it's going to be Carter tripped up on the far side. Back to the near. And now to neutral ice. Trying to skate around is the 27 of Giancarlo Cagliari. And back to the far side to Bogosian. Bogosian that time. Off to Franco. And now back at center. Poked back into the zone from Cagliari. Still in neutral ice. Natali gets a hard check from the 14 of John LaRose. LaRose is one of those skaters that last season was definitely a forefront in terms of bringing the Hawks to their championship win. A lot of those pieces still on this team. At center, it's dumped back in. Right past Georgian. The Rams still looking for their first shot on goal. There's only been 2 shots on goal this whole game so far, and that'll be the third of the night. And Georgian will make the wise decision to make the save. And the stoppage of play with 11:09 to go. So we'll face off in the Rams side of the ice after Georgian makes that save. Hawks have been knocking on the doorstep, and this defense has really been playing on its heels. Off the face-off. Wrapped around the backside. And that time it's the 5 of Mora struggling to move that puck away. Still waiting for someone to gain an advantage here. And the Hawks will send one down right there from Crane before Georgian will block that one away. Crane waiting right in front. He tried to sneak it into the corner that time. And Mora to knock the puck down. Back on the near side. Hard slap shot that time, but it was whiffed on. Back at center ice. And blocked up. And coming back to the near side boards. Martinelli brings it across the neutral ice into the attacking zone. Hard check into those boards. And the Hawks crash down on it easily as Smith dumps it forward. Boscia was trying to get ahead of it, but we'll get our first icing call of the game. Salle with a chance to make something happen with 10:06 to go in this first period. Off the face-off. Hawks come up with it as they wrap it around back to the far side in front of their own bench. And poked up to center. And the feed was not clean as the Rams experienced some more pressure. Garfalo gives it up to Bradley. Bradley had to extend for it, but Drew Bradley ultimately with the possession. Bradley, and we get ourselves an offsides. Offsides called against the 20 of Cam Tosca. As Tosca got ahead of Bradley on that previous sequence. So we'll come face off once again back in neutral ice. As stated before, we're still waiting for the Rams to break in on the shot column. And a good dump off that time to LaRose. LaRose getting tangled up a whole bunch. And Georgian makes a great save. Off the win. Poked back into the zone and bow back through center. And it'll be met immediately by Grislis. Grislis around the backside and dumps it back off to Tillinghast. Tillinghast trying to get it back up to Ferreira. And some good movement. However, the offense lost possession of the puck before it's knocked back by Paul Bogosian. And a good feed right in front for Pacheco to make a play. Pacheco trying to get the puck away from the 4 of Smith. And the Rams still keeping the puck in this territory. Pacheco trying to set up a man, and that time the play was shut down. They had a good opportunity as they get their first shot of the night. And no icing to be called as the Rams are the last to touch that puck. Passed over to McIntyre at center. That time to the 10 of Tomka and brought into the zone by Natali. Off the backside boards, Giuliano. Kavanaugh through center. Doing it all by himself, giving it off that time. A great chance! Top shelf score! Hendricken strikes first in this one. And give credit to the goal, to the 3 of Griffin Crane. And the Hawks take an early 1-0 lead. It's no surprise there as the Hawks were really putting the pedal to the metal in the start of this one. 7 shots on net before they break through first, 1-0. And now we'll come back at center and face off with 8:20 to go left in the first. Off the win. Kavanaugh has the puck poked away a whole bunch before he'll shepherd it back up through center. Kavanaugh. He's checked on the near side, and Healy making a dangerous position of that pass as we come back to center. But it'll stay in the LaSalle side of the ice. Rams. A dump in, that time from the 9 of Frateschi. On the backside, Baxter. And now poked back up to center ice by the 19 of Nick Regine. Nardelli was trying to get ahead, and the puck keeps going back and forth. Nardelli has it now. Steven Nardelli trying to create some offense as the puck shuffled off to the right side. Back to the near, Barbosa. First time we've called Evan Barbosa's name all night. Back on the near side, and we get a whistle to stop play. And so Steven Nardelli is going to head to the penalty box for the next 2 minutes. So the Rams catch a break. And they'll get a chance to make something happen here with 7:16 left to go in the first period. Hawks only lead it 1-0, but they get their first power play of tonight. Only 1 shot on goal so far. We'll see if they can add on to it. Frateschi down to Garfalo. Garfalo sends one down, knocked away by Murray. Frateschi, or excuse me, Garfalo. That time led behind the back of Martinelli. Martinelli to Frateschi. Frateschi rifles one down off the backboards. It's behind the net. They'll try again. Garfalo and a whistle. That'll stop the play dead as the net came off the moorings. 1:31 to go. Then 31 to go on the power play. The Rams doing their best to try and knock on the doorstep. And off the faceoff. Frateschi over to Martinelli. Martinelli coming down for Bradley. Finds the back of the net. We're dead even at 1 apiece. Drew Bradley strikes back. And what a great way to do it. Drew Bradley, one of the lead scorers for this Rams unit, ties the matchup up at 1 apiece. It was only the Rams' 3rd shot on goal, but they capitalized big time, and it's all narrowed up with just about 6.5 to go in this first period. Well, this is the matchup we expected it to be. Tightly contested, back and forth, and these teams are just going at it. Back up to center. It's dumped in as Martinelli and Garfalo chase it down. Back to the far side. Tosca. Cam Tosca back to Martinelli. And pass all the way back up to center. Garfalo Enters the zone again. He was trying to set up a man in the slot as Ronan Peterson is knocked to the ground there. You get a big loud cheer from that Hawks fan base as Kavanaugh will shepherd it through center. Kavanaugh trying to deke around before the 23 of McIntyre gets a hold of it. It'll come back to the near side. Hawks dump the puck back in. Bradley giving it off to McIntyre. McIntyre gets tied up a bit before it comes back to center. Smith feeds it past, and we'll get an icing call. Miscommunication on that one. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For consultation and information, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then by our elite recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by going to our elite recruits. Visit www.oureliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. Off the face-off. The Rams come up with it. They send one down off the 5 of Mora. Goes to the corner. And it's poked back up to center. Mora will track the puck the opposite way and send it up to the 26 of Barbosa. On the near side, right in neutral territory. And it'll come back the opposite way. Barbosa tried to feed it across to Baxter, who couldn't find the extension. Baxter sending one down. It hits the backside boards. And we'll get a whistle to stop play. And it looks like we might have another penalty. And it's going to be the Hawks' second penalty of the game. And it looks like it might be for a cross check or interference. Now send the 4 of Andrew Smith to the box. So just like that, the Rams are fighting for the power play. And the Hawks, they gave up a power play goal in that last sequence with 5:03 left to go in this first period. They're looking to at least get out of here with a tie. Easier said than done. Bradley up to the top, giving it to Garfalo. Garfalo back to Martinelli. Martinelli at the point. Martinelli giving it off to Garfalo, who circles back to the point. Garfalo takes a chance, and it's deflected off of the pads of Murray. Back to the far side. Ferteshi trying to keep it in the zone. Bradley with Peterson. Back to Bradley. Drew Bradley up to Ferteshi, and that was a little too far across that blue line. Under a minute and a half to go, the Rams have done a good job on the power play. And it's dumped back in. And effectively cleared back to center by the Hawks. LaRose heads to the bench after he cleared it. Ferteshi entering the zone. Ferteshi trying to let the power play unit get set, and it's cleared one more time. Garfalo has one man to chase him. That's Nardelli. And gets some help from the 9. The 9 of Ferteshi. Up to Bradley. Garfalo behind the back. Wrapped around the backside and hard slap around the far side boards, and Johorgian will stop it on the backside. Pass to Bradley and cleared again. The Hawks, the last few minutes, have done a good job in terms of clearing this penalty. We're under 30 seconds to go on the power play. Bogosian up to Barbosa. Barbosa enters the zone with a big chance. That one poked away by Baxter. Given up to Natali. Robert Natali. With 10 seconds to go, trying to find that opening. Gives it to Barbosa. Barbosa to Bogosian. Bogosian. And that shot off the backside boards, as that was Vinny Healy. And that will expire the penalty. Hawks back to full strength. And bounced off of Natali right in front of Murray's net. And the Hawks looking to clear this one back up to center. Barbosa feeds it to Bogosian. Bogosian with the shot, bouncing off of Murray. Rams' offense has really started to actually find its stride in these last few minutes. And it's poked back in and back to center. Barbosa flips this one right at Murray before it's knocked away. We're all dead even at 7 shots apiece. Tillinghast Dumping it off back to Nardelli, who gives it back to Tillinghast. Fed up towards center. It's poked back into the zone. LaRose with the dump in. It'll come back to the far side. Bogosian behind the back of the net to McIntyre. And now Garfalo intercepted, knocked in by Crane. Hawks trying to establish some late offense here in the late minutes of this first period. A feed right in front and a big stop. And a huge opportunity missed. Rams shepherd the puck down ice. The pass up all the way before it's poked away by Peterson. Or excuse me, for Teshi. Hard hit, and we get a late penalty call. And that's going to go against the 9 of Mark Ferteschi. So we've already had 2 penalties against the Hawks. This will be the first one in their favor with 1:19 to go in this first period. This penalty will carry over into the second period. Off the face-off. It's dumped back in. Kavanaugh up to the 3 of Crane. Crane sends one down. It bounces off the defenders, and it'll come back to center. The Rams knock off one attack. They still got 1:40 to go. The pass to Smith. LaRose with the dump in over that time behind the back from Regine. Over to the 15 of Grasilis. Now Kavanaugh to Grasilis. Grasilis to Crane. Crane down that time to Regine. That shot hard. And Johorgian makes a tough save. 39 solid seconds to go in the period. Minute and 20 to go on the penalty. 39 seconds to go on the power in the period. At the top of the zone. The pass back down to the 21 of Carter. In the far near corner. Neither side can seem to find the opening or extension for that matter. Carter, another shot, bounced away. Great save again. And the Rams effectively clear it, likely killing off the rest of this period. Carter to bring the puck up ice, trying to get a quick chance. Bogosian stops it in neutral territory, and that will conclude the first period. With 41 seconds left to go on the power play, we're all tied up at 1-1. Both teams came into this matchup in similar situations this season. We'll see how things play out. This determines who takes the 1 spot so far here in Division 1. We're through 1, score all tied up at 1. We'll be right back here on Fans Only Sports Network momentarily for the start of the second period. In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
They're trying to kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
Right kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose! And welcome back to the start of the second period. We're all knotted up at 1. 41 seconds to go on the power play. And off the face-off, Bradley takes the win for the Rams. Garfalo dumps it away and clears it. Crane leaving it for Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh back to Crane. Griffin Crane crossing the blue line cleanly. And the Rams still struggling to move the puck out of their own territory. In the near corner, LaRose up to the 4 of Smith. Trying to take a chance on Georgian. And another save. At the top shelf, Crane off the backside board. And we're back to full strength hockey at center. The 20 of Tosca. Cam Tosca trying to get around 3. Bradley can't get the puck cleanly as the puck's brought into the near corner. Kavanaugh leading the pass to Regine. Nick Regine getting tied up a bit by 2 defenders. And we'll come back up to center. Tosca. Tosca sends one right at Murray, who knocks it away. Back to the near side. That was Peterson trying to make a move on it. Bradley with a great interception before it crosses the blue line. A big save there. It looked like he was trying to shadow Tosca a little bit to get him set up in front of the net. And we get an icing. That was just a missed opportunity that the Rams are definitely going to want back. However, they've had themselves quite a solid game so far. Of course, both Murray and Georgian each had a shutout last night, but obviously that hasn't been the case tonight, as we're all dead even. On the near side, it's cut back to center. Great movement that time from the 26 of Steven Nardelli, giving it off to the 22 of Marshall. Marshall's going to wrap it around back to the 24 of Penachini. Aiden Penachini getting tied up a whole bunch as Bradley and McIntyre continue to fight for it against that 22 of Nate Marshall. Penachini has it on the near side. And Healy. He'll cut back up to center. That one led far for Barbosa. Murray going to have to shepherd the puck around. And we get a very interesting call. And still waiting to see what that call particularly is. But it looks like they'll just call it icing and call it a day. So the face-off to occur in the Rams side of things. Wrapped around the backside. Coming up to center. The 15 of Martinelli. Martinelli sends it across. There was no one there. Back on the near side glass. And a good chance. Martinelli with the shot. Murray grasping this one in his chest for the save. It's just been an unbelievable start for the Rams and the Hawks, both playing very even up until this point. It was all Hawks in the start, but the Rams have really found ways to keep themselves a part of this one. Martinelli back to the near. Barbosa struggling to get any movement on this puck, and it's wrapped around the backside as LaRose finds it. The 27 of Calari. And Martinelli trying to get the pass over to Barbosa. A bunch of lazy passes moving the puck around. As it'll eventually get poked back to, nope, it stays in the zone. Hawks being pesky as always. Garfalo trying to change that story. Tyler Garfalo cuts back. Rams are getting themselves a line change, and he manages to keep it along the blue line and dumps it back in. Back behind the cage of Murray. And it's dumped away by Kaliri. And icing the call on the floor. And so we'll face off in the Rams, or excuse me, the Hawks side of things. To the top, Mora with the dump in. On the near side boards. It's poked back up to center ice. Flipped back into the zone, or at least attempted to, by Seamus Murphy. And it's cut back up to center. Crane. Griffin Crane. Crane, it's bounced off of his own man as he was tied up. And a good chance. The shot bounced off the defense as the 15 of Grislis tried to send this one in. And it's poked back up. Murphy through center. Seamus Murphy trying to get around the 22 of Nate Marshall. Murphy cuts back up. Trying to feed it Pacheco, who's shadowed in the slot, and the Rams will have this one come back into their own ice, and they'll face off again. Back on the Hawks side of things, icing the call on the floor. .10:48 to go, and it's still 1-1 here in the second period. You couldn't have asked for a better writing to this story so far. It's just been a good back and forth by both teams. Bradley feeding it behind the back of McIntyre. They're a little dangerous. He's checked hard. Peterson knocked up to the floor. And now this pass over to Penachini. Penachini with the dump in. Bogosian to find it, and he sends it back to neutral ice. The 21 of Carter, and it'll go back to Carter from Penachini. Carter feeds Penachini, and it led him a bit too much. Bogosian trying to chase it down. In the near side corner. And it'll wrap around by Peterson. Peterson to Bradley. Bradley trying to feed it up for Tosca. Tosca skating ahead of the 21 of Carter. And he's tangled up by 3 Hawks. Martinelli, hard slap shot. It will bounce off of Murray's pads into the near corner. Probably one of the lowest shots on goal that we've seen all season from either side. Martinelli trying to cut down. Peterson pokes it back up before the Hawks try to patrol it back up. Bradley down to Martinelli. Martinelli with the lane and the save by Colin Murray. And that time, that was a hard shot from Frateshi. A great save from Murray. And it'll come back the other way. Mora. Devin Mora. He'll bring it around and right in front. Wow. That was in dangerous position. It could have been knocked down just by a simple stick slap. But the Rams avoid the danger. Coming back into the zone. And behind the net of Murray. That time Exter sends it to the far side. Hard check on Bogosian, and Healy keeps it into the zone. Healy struggling as the 13 of Boscia is playing some physical hockey so far. It's poked away. And we'll get another icing call as a result of that dump off. And for the face-off. Around the backside, back to the near. And flipped all the way up. That was a great leading pass that time for Kavanaugh. And Joharjan deflects that one up into the glass. Just letting our clock catch up to the actual in-game clock here in the barn. It's 8:13 in game time. And now we'll face off. Crane to get set for the face-off against Peterson. Peterson wins it. And somehow Crane comes up with the puck. Bradley trying to get ahead of it before Kavanaugh dumps it back in. Martinelli. Garfalo was playing a little too far off it, and will come back to the near zone. Rams clear it back to center. Martinelli with some space. He's tripped up a bit. And the puck cleared back to center one more time. Big back and forth from both sides. And we get an offsides call, in fact, with 7:42 to go in the second period of action. Off the win. Taking it across the blue line that time is Tomka. Trying to get the setup right in front. Tomka was right in the slot for it. Natali trying to get ahead of it. These Rams fans are getting on their feet as they're like, just break the plane. But the Hawks defense swallowed the puck up right in the zone. So the Rams got their 15th shot of the night. Back to center. All the way over to the 27 of Kalari. Smith. All the way up to center. Franco feeds Natali, or that time Tomka. Tomka. LaRose kicks it back to the near side. And travel back up to center. Natali with the interception. And it bounces off out of play, they'll say. In fact, they might call interference because they're trying to say, the officials are saying a Rams player who was on the bench touched the puck. Or they'll just say it's out of play. Just about 6.5 to go, and we're still knotted up. Neither side can break through on the scoreboard. And it could be very much like this throughout the matchup. We saw it a couple weeks ago. That game ended up going into overtime. This one could as well. Bogosian crossing the zone. That shot right off of Murray, trying to get it off the rebound. Murray again with an amazing save laying out for that one. Murphy dumps it back in. Cut back to center. It's given off that time. The 22 of Nate Marshall. Marshall that time was trying to lead Hughes. And this puck called out of play. 6:17 to go. Everybody can just take in a moment to kind of take that last play in. A lot of adrenaline here in the barn tonight. Not just from the players, the fans themselves. Really getting us into it. Off the face-off. It'll come back to the near side for Gristlis. Behind the net, Hughes trying to find the lane in the pass, but the Rams defense doing a good job here in this one. Barbosa trying to get the feed that time. And it'll come all the way back up to center. Dumped in. Garfalu wraps it around the backside boards over to Barbosa. Barbosa sending it that time to the 17 of Baxter. In front of the near side. Here comes the 9 of the 3 of Crane. Caught back up to center. Barbosa's the lone man. Didn't have enough speed to gain the separation as he tried to set up Healy, and he led him a bit too far. And the Hawks will try again. Kavanaugh coming up center ice. Will Kavanaugh with the dump off to Hughes. Hughes sends it wide to the left. Cutting back to the near. Over to Ferteschi. And fed up to Exeter. Peterson coming up to center. Baxter trying to flip it behind the back to Bradley. And now in the opposite direction, Bogosian. Hawks and Rams. Who's going to cut through first? Rams poke this one into the zone. It's considered a dump in. Back to the far side. And cut back to near. Bogosian. Bogosian. A lot of great dekes. Bogosian trying to do it all himself. Wow. Paul Bogosian. It was a great second effort. That one bouncing off, coming back out. Plenty of shots on net to be had. And it's just been a very narrow matchup. LaRose and Peterson falling on the floor. Bradley now getting checked into the boards that time from Caleri. Garfalo at center. Garfalo back to the far side. Great movement there. We're just seeing some good dekes from Martinelli and Bogosian. Another shot off the defenders. Hawks were really building up steam, but the Rams Rams had a chance. Hawks had themselves, wow. Georgian dodged a bullet there. Got a little caught up in my own speech there, ladies and gentlemen. Garfalo flips it back up towards center. Tosca. And it's poked away by the 18 that time of Hughes. Christopher Hughes dumping it into the zone. And icing will be the call on the floor. Another big sigh of relief as the Rams were knocking on the door one more time. Hawks nearly had themselves a breakaway opportunity before it was shut down. And with 3:03 to go, we're still tied up at 1. We're still very tight and contested in this one. On the backside, was trying to be shepherded by Marabello. Michael Marabello and Pacheco getting in on the physicality. Smith trying to redirect. He'll do so. Feeds it up top, and it's poked back in by Mora. Smith behind the back, trying to get Giuliano set up. And the Rams keep up the attacking pressure. Murphy in the near corner. Needs some assistance with under 2.5 to go. And try to set it up in front. Wow, another tough save. Off that time, the 12 of Michael Marabello. This puck cleared. And we'll get ourselves an ice and call with 2:07 to go. Off the face-off at the point. Trying to bring it down as McIntyre. Using the backboards to the advantage. Barbosa struggling as Marshall's boxing him out. Well, that was Grislis. Trying to find the back door. And a lot of pushing and shoving right in front of the net. A little bit of extracurricular to add on top of it. And play will be stopped as the net came off the moorings with 1:53 to go. So we'll face off again in the neutral ice. And now for the face-off. Minute 53 to go, and still no score in this second period. Crane trying to get around Healy as he dumps it in. LaRose checking Martinelli into the boards. Baxter with the feed up to Martinelli. He's checked out, and now a good chance for Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh trying to get it around Garfalo, setting up Crane. Crane trying to get it around Healy. Crane to LaRose. LaRose back up to the point to Tillinghast. Tillinghast sent it right in front, and Georgian, another tough save. This one coming out the corner, Georgian. Wow. A hard wrister from the corner, and Georgian comes up with it somehow. Hawks thought they might have had him that time. That was an absolute laser, and Georgian still came up with it. And he seems to be a little shaken up. He's rolling that ankle out a bit. He seems to be all right. Definitely rolled it a little bit, trying to sell out for that puck. 1:11 to go. 1:11 to go, excuse me. Back at the near side. The Rams gain possession. Peterson. Peterson giving it off to Cam Tosca. Down to Peterson. Oh, Bradley was trying to get set up on the one-timer. And the whistle to stop play. And so we'll come back to center one more time, potentially. Just 52 seconds to go in the second period as we're still tied. Back to the near side. This one poked off the center ice glass. And it's wrapped around the backside glass. Carter, that time down to the 9 of Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh and Crane trying to poke the puck away to get one last shot on Georgian. Kavanaugh redirects. Kavanaugh couldn't find the opening, uses the boards to dump it away. And we get a delayed penalty called. A cross check. And the culprit of the penalty is going to be the 5 of Devin Mora. Mora called on a cross check. And this penalty will carry over into the third period. And it's definitely the penalty the Hawks needed in these late minutes, or at least seconds of the second. And it will definitely be a benefit to them at the start of this third. Off the win. On the near side. The feed, the shot. Georgian! Shot, score! Hawks, with just 7 seconds into the penalty, find the back of the net and give credit of the goal to the 14 of John LaRose. LaRose breaks through on the scoreboard through the tie with only 16 seconds left to go in the second period and gives the Hawks a 2-1 advantage. This has just silenced the home crowd. And the Hawks take care of business in the second period with only 7 seconds into that power play. Georgian was pulled off his mark, and the Hawks took full advantage. And it's wrapped around the backside boards. Over in that far corner, Kavanaugh will let this puck trickle towards center ice, and that will do it for the first two periods. As we hit the intermission break, Bishop Hendricken leads LaSalle 2-1. Hawks found their stride in the late seconds with only 16 seconds to go in the second to take a 2-1 advantage off a power play goal. We've seen two power play goals scored, one by each side, but the Hawks ultimately have the advantage with a 2-1 lead. You're watching Fans Only Sports Network. We'll be back after that Zamboni works its magic on the ice for the start of this third period. We'll be right back for the conclusion of this one. In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone. That is a touchdown.
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to write off the conclusion of this one here from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink, right here on Fans Only Sports Network. Welcome back. Score 2-1 as the Bishop Hendricken Hawks lead the Salle Academy Rams in a battle for that number one spot here in Division I hockey in the state of Rhode Island. Rams came into this one playing on their heels a bit as the Hawks took a 1-0 lead. However, off a power play goal from Drew Bradley, they managed to even the affair at one apiece till the late seconds with only 16 seconds to go. And 7 seconds into their second power play of the game, the Hawks scored a power play goal to make it 2-1. And that's where we stand as of right now. 15 minutes on the board for the third period, and we'll see how this one finishes off. Hawks come up with the face-off win as Penachini sends the puck out of play immediately, and we'll stop play with 14:55 to go. Let's get a quick word from today's game sponsors. Today's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For more information and consultation, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then by our Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by going to RR Elite Recruits. Go to www.rreliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. On the far side boards, it's taken away by Penachini and flipped back up the center. Garfalo cuts it back in and will give it over to Martinelli on the near side. Martinelli with the dump in, and we'll get an icing call. Back on the near side, taken behind the net. And dumped back in right by the 15 of Gristlis. Puck crossing ice back to center. Martinelli has the puck taken away as Bradley shepherds it. Wrapped around back to the near side. And it'll be cut back up to center ice. Now back in the opposite direction. Peterson trying to set up Tosca right in front. And nothing to be had there. Back to center. Kavanaugh trying to do it all by himself. Kavanaugh off of Joharjan. That puck scampers over the top. Nearly could have found the back door as several defenders, including Joharjan, leaped out of the box into the slot. And we get a stoppage of play. Joharjan lost his stick on that last sequence, and so hence the stoppage with 13:28. And off the win for Teshi around the backside to Mora. And Barbosa lets this one escape him as it travels behind the cage. Mora can't find the extension. It'll come back around and cut to the inside. Behind the net. And a chance, a shot, score! Give credit to the goal that time to the 10 of Aiden Ferreira, and the Hawks increase the lead to 3-1, further continuing this advantage. Hendricken has really come on top in these late minutes, or in the early minutes, I should say. Rams lead in the shot category. However, the Hawks, they've just been very versatile and accurate in their shots on net. Murray stops the puck before it travels across. Smith dumped it along the boards, that time intended for Giuliano. Being poked away, a whole bunch of chance, and a great save by the defense. That time the extension of Andrew Smith off of the shot from the 12 of Michael Marabello. This puck dumped into the zone that time by the 26 of Nardelli. McIntyre flipping it to Seamus Murphy. And around the backside, Marabello, and a whistle to stop the play with 12:21. Rams are 4-0 on the season. Hawks 4-1. One team will improve to 5-1, while the other will fall to 4-1. And off the face-off. Over to Garfalo. Escape Tosca at center, and the Hawks come up with the possession. A chance right in front of Joharjan. Another tough save. 12:05 to go in period number 3. We'll step aside for a quick moment to have a word from our sponsors at Precision Home Lending.
Want to close your home purchase or refinance faster? Contact me, David Delbonis, at 401-487-7379, President Precision Home Lending. Trust the experts and we'll make your loan experience amazing.
Back to near center ice before Crane dumps it back in over to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh using some geometric passes there to get it to him. And now here come the Rams. Martinelli with the dump in. Checked hard into the boards. Martinelli's going to go right back to the bench for a quick change. Kavanaugh. Will Kavanaugh, and the whistle as that time the 19 of Nick Regine shot a little too cross that blue line. Offside's the call. And we'll come back to center. Going right back to Jaharjan. Rams still looking for the first shot on net of the period on Murray. As they take it across, here's a chance. That one way over the top of the net as Franco sends it away. Frateschi tried to dump it back in with the kick of the skates. Franco getting it over and into the corner for Tomka. Tomka and Franco just trying to find it, and eventually it's taken away by the 33 of Hayden Corrente. Corrente crossing that blue line. Corrente sending it across to the near. This one rifled down. On the near side. And the cross back to the far. And it couldn't be cleared back to center. This one shuffled back into the zone. Mora being pushed to the ground. And we got ourselves a delayed penalty. And this one's going to go against Bishop Hendricken. Interference going to be the call, or a hold actually. So the Rams, trailing by 2, will go on the power play for the first time since the early minutes of the second period. And they'll have themselves a chance to bring this game within 1. The holding call against the 18 of Christopher Hughes. So give 2 minutes to the Rams and an extra man. Off the face-off. Bradley back up to Frateschi at the point. Frateschi to Garfalo. Garfalo with the open lane, and Murray makes a top shelf glove save. First shot on net for the Rams this period. Shots on goal, 21-19. Hawks trail in the shot category, or ever been more accurate up until this point. Frateschi over to Martinelli, who sends one right off of Murray. And the Hawks clear it back through center. Under 10 to go. Georgian to Frateschi. And Frateschi will patrol. Martinelli cutting back inside. Kept himself on one skate. And Frateschi trying to cut it in. Frateschi juking a whole bunch. Deking to Martinelli. Martinelli to Garfalo. To Frateschi or Martinelli. It bounces off of Murray again. Out of the stomach and in play. Martinelli to Frateschi. And bounced off. Frateschi trying to play some keep away as it dangled into the slot, and it's cleared by Andrew Smith, getting some extension. 1 minute to go on the power play. As Martinelli shuffles it off for Frateschi to take it up. Mark Frateschi. And getting a little bit of tied up is Peterson. And Bradley to give him some help. Martinelli. Frateschi to play help. And it picked off by the 22 of Nate Marshall. And no penalty to be called there. Martinelli crosses the zone onside. Shot score by the 15 of Marcielo Martinelli. A slaughter wrister. And the Rams get themselves a second goal. Their second power play goal. And they bring it within 1. 3-2 the score with 8:41 left to go in the third. And the Hawks still lead it. And this Rams crowd really letting us know that, yeah, it's not over. We still got plenty of time on that clock. And only a one-score game. So the Hawks let this one slip by, and the Rams bring it within 1. Trying to gain some offensive production. Healy might find it. The pass up to the 17 of Baxter. Baxter trying to get ahead of Panicchini. And Crane will come up with it. Griffin Crane. Crane crossing that blue line. McIntyre trying to get around Kavanaugh. Back on the near side, it's tossed back up to center ice and dumped back in by Panicchini. And we get ourselves a whistle for icing. So now the Hawks are in an interesting position with 8:01 to go in the third, as they managed to get their third goal of the game at the start of this period. The score identical to the final score, the last time these two teams met up. But we'll see how this one's written off. Prateshi, his shot blocked down by the defense. LaRose coming up with it. LaRose has a goal already in this one. And Mora with the ultimate takeaway there. Up to Murphy. Murphy trying to play some keep away. Murphy to come up with it again. Poked away as he was trying to get it to Pacheco. Excuse me. Gristless. It's dumped behind the cage of Georgian. Back over to Mora. And the puck couldn't seem to find a location before it's rifled back down from Kaleri. Kavanaugh trying to wrap it around right in front for Crane. And a big stop. Another one coming down off of Georgian. On his belly. He's got to get back and set. Murphy finally clears it, however, no icing to be called. We got ourselves a line change. This one dumped all the way up. It's onside. Up against those near side boards. And dumped back in by Crane. This one rolling all the way to Georgian. And the stop. With just about 6:38 to go. Six and a half to go. The Hawks are holding on for dear life. Trying to nurse this lead as the Rams are trying to use what's left in the tank to tie this one up. Chasing back down for it is Giuliano. And the near side, Bradley. Bradley, one of the goal scorers in this one. Peterson trying to get one set for Bradley. It finds the corner. The Rams, out of nowhere, have climbed right back into this one after trailing by 2. They tie it up at 3. Wow. Wow. Drew Bradley with the second goal of the game etches the third goal of the game for the Rams. And this LaSalle crew is livid in this building and alive and well. And we'll face off again at center. Taken away that time by Carter. Back to Carter. He'll give it up that time to Tillinghast, who dumps it in. On the backside, Bogosian. Giving it off to Tosca. Now Bradley at center. He'll cut back through. The feed, a nice feed to Tosca. Cam Tosca trying to play keep away as the lines change for the Rams and Hawks. On the near side, LaRose. Bouncing off the boards, LaRose has it. John LaRose sends that one down in the corner. That time Ferreira. Ferreira has himself a goal in the matchup already as well. And poke back up to center. Penacchini. And it's dumped in. Martinelli. Marcielo Martinelli already has himself a goal in this one. Kavanaugh giving it to Crane. Leading Kavanaugh. Great interception by the Rams defense. And they bring the puck back in the opposite direction. Back up to center. In the Rams side of the ice, Kavanaugh sends a laser at Georgian. And he makes a tough save. And brought down that time by the glove of Tillinghast before it's poked back up to center. Grislis, he's pushed to the ice, and no hands up, no penalty. Crane sends this one up to Kavanaugh at center. Kavanaugh. Back up at center. Carter. And this one dumped in. And now Baxter off to Mora. Devin Mora with the dump in. Healy trying to play the takeaway. Vinny Healy off of Murray, a deflection off the rebound. Those back-to-back shots off of Colin Murray. And he avoids a major mistake. Bogosian trying to feed Healy. Gets some help from Bradley. Bradley, not enough extension on the attempted shot. Tosca to try. It's poked away. Hawks have been very successful with the poke checks tonight. And at center. Puck still loose in front of the scorer's box. Tosca trying to poke this one away. And that time, Ferreira. And given off to Bradley. Bradley. The dump in. Behind the backside. And good movement there by Peterson as the puck was dangling right in front of Murray. And Garfalo traps it down at center and sends it back into the zone. Tillinghast. Sends it across ice. Garfalo. Back over to Martinelli. Martinelli to Bradley, Baxter. He'll dump it in. That time the 15 of Grislis. And it'll come back to the opposite side. Baxter trying to feed Healy, and it's taken away. Nate Marshall. Up at center, tried to get over to LaRose. And back to center for Teschi with the feed to Barbosa. It bounces into the zone off his stick. He's tripped up a little bit right in front of the near side glass. Over to the far corner. And sent back up to Mora. And no icing to be called as it was touched by a Ram before entering the zone. That time, Penachini. Only a minute and a half to go. And a chance here. Trying to set up Crane. A little too wide on it. Top shelf, he missed as Kavanaugh was in the perfect position. They'll send another one down. Crane can't get it in off the deflection. Multiple shots on goal. And we got ourselves a delayed penalty. Off the face-off. Back to the near. Tosca. Cam Tosca. Trying to set him up right in front. And another save from Murray. And we get ourselves a whistle. With just a minute remaining in the period. Play stopped as the net came off the moorings, they say. Still all knotted up at 3 apiece, and we might find ourselves in overtime. And it's been quite a game, to say the least. So under a minute to go. Back up to center. Garfalo backtracking. Garfalo to Martinelli as it's dumped away. Up at center, Bradley trying to maneuver the puck to Tosca. Bradley shuffles it back in across the blue line. Bradley trying to get it around Tosca. At center, Bradley to Garfalo. Over to Martinelli. Martinelli bouncing it off the skates. Clock trimming away as regulation's about to end. Martinelli trying to find Tosca as he's knocked to the ground. Hawks defense playing good keep away. We'll likely find ourselves in a 5-minute overtime period. And with that, we are headed to overtime. Score all knotted up at 3 apiece from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. And just like the matchup a couple weeks ago, we're heading to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back for the start of the overtime period here on Fans Only Sports Network between the LaSalle Rams and the Bishop Hendricken Hawks. Oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
Oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Oh, Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
Welcome back to overtime here from Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. We're knotted up at 3 apiece as the Hawks and Rams have been duking and dunking it out for first place here in the state of Rhode Island. Five-on-five hockey. Sometimes it's usually 3-on-3. However, we're going with the 5-on-5 for this overtime period. If nobody scores here, we'll end in a tie. Right out of the gate, the Rams come up with the face-off. Garfalo off the near side boards. And it's dumped in. Around the back for Carter. And he'll come back up to the blue line. Stumped back in over towards the 21 of Carter. Carter that time to Smith. And it'll come back to center. Crane. Crane. Lost control of the puck. Because that time it was for Teshi and Peterson. Garfalo. Around the back of the net. Kavanaugh trying to get a hold of it. Bradley couldn't extend enough. And it's dumped back behind Jaharjan. And a good chance as Ferreira came right off the bench. Hard wrister that came into the boards as this overtime period ensues. Banachini has it tripped up. Tosca, Cam Tosca, he's wiped out. And there's no hands up. You can see a lot of these fans putting their hands up in favor of a penalty. However, the officials will see otherwise. They'll let them play. LaRose sends it back up to the 27 of Caleri. Caleri still navigating. He gets it off to Tillinghast. It bounces off of Jaharjan. And another save. And finally, we get a stoppage of play. 3:24 to go in overtime, as both teams would rather not see this game end in a tie. Off the face-off. This one goes behind Georgian. Trying to wrap around, and they'll call the play dead as the net came off the moorings. Hard shot right out of the cave, right on Georgian, right off the face-off. Martinelli wraps it back around. Over that time for Murphy. Murphy through center, trying to get around Crane as Crane uses the big hard body. Kavanaugh flips it back off to center. Crane checked into the penalty box. You can see Mike Sosha on the bench, head coach of Bishop Hendricken, had his hands up being like, are you kidding me? And going back in the opposite direction. And we'll get an icing call. Tonight's game's brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For more information and consultation, visit josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then finally by our Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by going to our Elite Recruits. Visit www.oureliterecruits.com to sign for more information. Back to the near side by Penachini as he wrapped it around the boards with the dump away. Back to Penachini, excuse me. And the Rams being very pesky here. They can't seem to keep it in, but they do. Bradley, Drew Bradley, trying to cut it in. This one over the top shelf. And it will be cleared back through center ice. Frateschi after it. Mark Frateschi. The pass all the way up to McIntyre. And led Tasca a bit too much behind. At center, Tasca, hard check. That time on the 10 of Ferreira. Trying to lead him right in front of Georgian. The puck's still in play. And Georgian, they're going to say he came up with it as shoving, and curriculars are all occurring right here. Georgian laid out for that one and couldn't find himself getting back up. Just a minute and 33 to go. There's a lot of pushing and shoving came at the end of the play. And they're going to let these teams talk it out. We'll step aside for just a moment right here with a minute 33 to go in overtime. In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone. That is a touchdown.
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back. So 2 penalties assessed. Aiden Ferreira of Bishop Hendricken and the 9 of Mark Frateschi hitting the box for LaSalle. And it'll be 5-on-4 hockey against the Rams. Hawks with a chance to end it here in overtime with the penalty. Garfalo letting this clock really wind down. The Rams at this point would rather just have the game end in a tie. They'd need to find themselves a breakaway chance to really seal the deal. Martinelli trying to get the puck out of his own end. LaRose trying to give shade for Kavanaugh. Will Kavanaugh. Round the back to LaRose. LaRose that time to Regine. A hard shot! It slipped right through Georgian and nearly rolled right into the net. But a great save. Smith. Or in that case, great luck. Crane. Trying to find it a way to give it to Smith. Potentially one last gasp for the Hawks. Martinelli. And it's poked into the protective netting. And so they'll come back to center for the faceoff. 23 seconds to go in regulation. And they'll actually face off in the Rams side of the ice. Or in the Hawks. A little confusing. And we got ourselves a timeout. With just a few seconds left to go, we'll step aside. Score knotted up at 3 with 23 seconds to go right here on Fans Only Sports Network. In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown. And the refs have whistled for us to resume play with little to no time remaining. And enough of the build-up, let's go. Bradley trying to send one immediately, and the defense was right there to stop it. Garfalo with only 3 men ahead of him, and they'll dump it in. Murray couldn't stop the puck as it wraps around to the near side. And back at center, Garfalo. Both sides can't generate one last push. Martinelli going to be the first to meet it. And that will do it. The game is over. Three to three, the final score. Rams and Hawks tie in the regular season. Unbelievable game throughout. We thought we'd have ourselves a victor, but we'll never get that answer tonight as the game is officially ended in a tie. Your score, 3-3 once again. And it was a great matchup throughout as both sides really put it to them. As both teams shake hands, they fought very hard. They played spectacular hockey throughout the affair. Rams trailed this one 3-1 in the third period and managed to answer back with 2 unanswered goals, and we deked and duked it out in overtime, but neither side could capitalize, and even with the Hawks power play at the end of the game, they couldn't put it through. Just great hockey that we saw tonight, but we never got a true victor, but we will as the season goes on. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's matchup once again here on Fans Only Sports Network. Bishop Hendricken Hawks and LaSalle Rams tie at 3-3. The final score here in this one. And we will catch you all on the next broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to this weekend. And we hope to see you all on the next one. Have yourselves a great, wonderful night.